We have a question from Marcello Delgado. Hi Dave, what are the main causes to steering head shake, i.e. tank slappers? My Hyosung Comet GT250R sent me to the floor on the highway because of a tank slapper. What should I search for in order to be able to start to trust the bike again? Thanks very much. Well, Marcello, head shake or tank slappers come in many forms. And one of the questions that we would ask is, was it under acceleration or was it under deceleration? Or simply just riding along the road, you got into a tank slapper and things changed. Were you changing gear? There's all kinds of things to look at here as to why it happens. So let's go to the root causes. Start with the simple one first. The geometry of the bike is flawed because sag isn't set correctly, or you could not get sag quite right. That will mean that the back of the bike is sitting low, the front of the bike sitting high. You hit a bump, the front, because it's too stiff, deflects off the bump, causing the wheel to turn slightly sideways. It lands obviously not in a straight line, and then a tank slapper ensues from that. So that's a geometric cause of the problem. Next you would look at is actually the converse. The back is too stiff, the front is too soft. The front hits a bump, it lifts the whole front end in the air, which sets it again sideways, and again you get the same result of a tank slapper and trying to control that. A lot of times I see it actually under acceleration, where people will shift gear, and let's get my hand in the right position here. They will shift gear like this. So if you're pushing on the throttle this way to get into the next gear, you push. Now when you push, you counter steer. If you counter steer, you turn the wheel. So a lot of times people are changing gear too aggressively using the throttle, which sets the front wheel out of line with the rear wheel and can cause a tank slapper. See it a lot at the track where people are changing gear completely with the wrong technique using the throttle. Another cause, yes there are many, is that hydraulic settings are wrong too. Your compression and rebound are perhaps overlapped, and that will give you exactly the same level of deflection, lifting the wheel off the ground, turning it slightly at an angle, and that will push you down. Your other cause, because you seem to have been on the street, is that you hit a severe bump. The suspension bottomed out completely, and that caused deflection. So what I would do, Marcello, is see where you're at in regards to sag. I would also then take a look at what you were physically doing with the bike. Sometimes if you go and accelerate and you think you have to accelerate all the way to red line, you quite often go past peak power if you look at the power curve, and that nosedives the bike. If you hit the rev limiter, it will nosedive the bike and suddenly load the front, and if you hit a bump there, the tank slapper can result from that. So check your sag, check your hydraulics. I'm not sure what you have on that bike. It's been a couple of years since I worked on one. I know when we did work on that particular bike, we raised it by almost an inch with a surrogate shock and pushing the forks all the way down. But that was for track, not street use. So do the basics first. Look at your riding technique. Are you too aggressive? Did the head shake start when you were accelerating? Look at all those components, and then one by one knock those off the list as per this video, and that should put you back in a place where you're knowing A, how you're riding the bike, B, how the bike is performing in terms of suspension, and C, if there are any inadequacies in geometry or suspension. You've identified those and gone ahead and fixed them, so then there's no reason for you to not trust your bike again, get back on it, and go ride and have fun. Thanks very much for the question, Marcello. If you have questions for me, please send them via Dave Marsh Tuning at facebook.com. Thanks very much.